Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans.
Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air. Stand by.
Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into Overreaction Monday here after the first week of the NFL season and a humongous win for the Buccaneers. And I think we're going to overreact to that and just enjoy doing it. Why not? Why not? That was a phenomenal performance by your Buccaneers. The rest of the NFL was an absolute unpredictable mess of chaos. But after week one, the Falcons suck. The Bucs are really good. The Panthers are god-awful. And, that's part of what may have made the Saints look good. But lots to get to. Tyreek in chains. Oh, my God. What else could happen in this crazy, crazy football world in the weekend? Northern Illinois gets a dub over Notre Dame at home. Yes, I cashed that one in the second half. Thank you very much. Lots to get to. And USF blows a golden opportunity of the greatest victory in their program history and one of the greatest upsets of all time. Oh, we'll talk about that as well. Good morning to you, Nick Geddes from On3 Sports. How are you?
I'm doing great. You forgot to add that Baker Mayfield is the favorite to win the NFL MVP. Hope you got your bets in on before the game started, because I'm sure you'd be in line to make a lot of money right now.
Yeah.
So,
over 22 touchdown passes for the year looks pretty good right now.
Pretty good.
With
pretty
four in
good.
the first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Player props yesterday were nice. I just have this little, you know what that is, right? The green, that's the hard rock
you're
out.
showing us your work here. Yeah.
That's the 5-bet parlay. We gave you all these props on Thursday. I said this is where we shine, the Bucs props, all right? So that's $470 on a $20 bet right there, as you can see. Ching, ching. Yeah, and listen, and you guys are going to get so mad because we gave you all these on Thursday. These are so easy. Godwin over 58 receiving yards. Okay, Bucky Irving over 6.5 receiving yards because we knew he was going to get touches, right? Bucky over 20.5 rushing yards. Jalen McMillan over 26.5 receiving yards. Thank God for that last touchdown. And then Jaden Daniels over 40 yards rushing. You're like, that was $20 to make 40. Yeah. This player props are where it's at. I had another 3-bet parlay with Jalen McMillan, Bucky, and Jalen for an anytime touchdown. That one touchdown cashed a lot of money. And then Mike Evans for a first touchdown. Nice wins this weekend.
Not too bad. Cashing out on week one.
College, I kind of went, I think I lost about 100 and something on that. But playing games that I knew nothing about, that I listen. Sometimes I listen to these people on TV, and I don't know why I do that, especially on ESPN, because none of them ever show their records. You notice that? They have all these.
None of the people on ESPN and their betting side ever explain how they came to the bet that they're making. Yeah. They just say, like, trust me, bro. Trust me, bro.
And go bet on our platform, where if you take our advice, you're going to lose money. What a scam. What a great scam. We'll tell you what to bet, and then you'll lose, and we collect the money. Pretty much. Now that's a scam. That's a scam. Yeah, well done. But anyway, got lots to get to. We got lots of sound. You're going to hear from Baker, from Bowles. I had a nice interview with Tristan Wirfs yesterday in the locker room. We'll play that for you. Graham Barton chatted with him as well. Love those offensive line guys. Chris Godwin, lots to get to with the Buccaneers. And, I'll come right out, Nick, and say, look, everybody's going to look at this win over the Commanders and go, oh, it's the Commodes, no big deal. And I don't want to overreact to it either, because they're not, they were one of the worst defenses in the league last year. I think they added a lot of nice pieces. I think they're going to be better than people think. I think Jaden Daniels is going to be really, really good once he settles down a little bit. He missed some open guys yesterday that could have changed the game. So did Baker. He missed one pass, I think. There was a couple drops. But all in all, it was a dominant performance, 37-20, 37 points in Liam Cohen's debut as the offensive coordinator. We've been talking about this all preseason, how much better, how much more diverse this offense is, and we saw it, all the eye candy. the perimeter runs, not the constant Dave Canales running up the middle with a terrible interior offensive line that he did last year. And then I don't want to dump on Canales. He's a nice dude, but I didn't expect him to do anything with the Panthers either.
Well, I'll dump on Canales. I'll bring it back to the Bucs in a second, but I'll dump on him only not because of Dave Canales. I'll dump on him because the people out on TV that were using the verbiage, and I heard it even in that game. Dave Canales, he comes in as a quarterback whisperer. He fixed Geno Smith and he fixed Baker Mayfield. Did he really turn that Bucs offense around that finished 23rd in the NFL and was 32nd in rushing the football and ran more often than not on first down and put themselves in bad situations and all those kind of things? Yeah, that Dave Canales was going to go and fix the 5'10" or whatever he's listed at quarterback Bryce Young, who is still not good. It's still not good. So.
I think I retweeted it this morning. Somebody put up the Panthers trade with the Bears. The Bears got Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, starting tackle, 2 other starters, and a second-round pick.
And if you throw in the McCaffrey, trade and the Brian Burns trade into that, like the net was Bryce Young, DJ Johnson, who was PFF's worst-graded linebacker last year, and 5 fifth-round picks. That's the net from trading McCaffrey, the first overall pick, DJ Moore, and Brian Burns.
The gift that keeps on giving. And they took Dave Canales away from us, which, obviously if Canales doesn't get that job, he's still directing this offense, which clearly he was holding back. With the talent that's on this offense, he was holding back. The diversity of the run game was very evident. And look, there's a couple of new pieces that are very good. Jalen McMillan is going to be – should have had Jalen McMillan, should have had 4 touchdowns yesterday. Count them up. The one, Baker misses him on the first series. That's a touchdown if he hits him in stride. He's got 3 yards on the defender. The second one, he drops down the right sideline. It's probably going to be a touchdown, the Jalen drop. The third one down the middle where his face mask gets grabbed and it's a PI and they get the touchdown anyway. That would have been a touchdown. He had him by 2 yards as well, was going to catch that ball, and then the one he got. So a would-be 4-touchdown game for Jalen McMillan. Easy. You get 2 to Mike Evans, who clearly in the red zone, if you're going to guard him one-on-one, Baker's just going to throw it up. And not more times than not, he's coming down with it. Two spectacular catches, one-on-one in the red zone. And then Godwin's, touchdown, just great awareness of where he is. And Godwin with a great day, 8 receptions on 8 targets, 7 of them for first downs or touchdowns. I mean, come on. All this stuff that we predicted, preseason, and we kept saying, are we just, we're homers. I feel nervous about this, but it just all feels so good. Well, it felt good for a reason, because they're good. Baker Mayfield is really, really good. Hello to the highest rated quarterback in the NFL on this Monday morning. Baker Mayfield, 148.6, I believe it was. Just ahead of David Carr, who played nobody. 24 of 30. I'd say 3 of those were throwaways. No interceptions, 4 tutties. A couple of great runs as he ran for 21 yards, very effective in the run game. The run game averages 3.7 yards a carry. Interesting to note that 6.9 yards per carry for Bucky Irving and 2.1 for Rachaad White. I don't want to dump on Rachaad White too much, but that's eye-opening. That's really eye-opening. Do we have a RB1 issue here? I don't think we do. I think you got an RB1 and RB1A. That's fine. I don't care who plays. Just play them in the right spots. Get them in the right situations. Hey, listen, you get 112 yards of rushing, I'm good with that. That's excellent. And to go with 289 yards of passing, almost 400 total yards, that's a great day of offense in the NFL anytime, and with no turnovers. No turnovers. That's going to win you a ton of freaking games. To me, one of the sub stories here is how much better this team is from this draft class. Again, you had 5 impact rookies in their first game. It's tough to get 5 impact rookies by the end of the year. In one game, you had Jalen McMillan with the touchdown and so much more that wasn't in the score sheet. Bucky Irving was arguably one of your better offensive players as well. That run game and that explosiveness makes defensive coordinators now got to go, okay, we got a plan for him. that's a game changer. Baker Mayfield was phenomenal. His leadership, his execution, his ball placement, his decision-making on point every single way. Chris Godwin, just a monster. Who have I missed here? K. Dotton really wasn't even involved in this game, and I think he's going to be a big part of it. When you look at 7 different receivers, 4 different rushers, even tried to get Cam Johnson a little look there.
Yep.
I love the offense. It makes Graham Barton, forgot about him, another rookie. Graham Barton against 2 of the best defensive tackles in Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne, I think held his own. You'll hear from him talking about the physicality inside and what he was able to do. That's a huge difference, folks. It's a huge difference besides Robert Hainsey. I hate dumping on the dude because he's such a good dude, but that guy just gets not knocked back. He's not big enough. He's not strong enough. Tries like hell, but that's a huge difference in the middle. The interior was so much better. Gedeke had a good day. This offensive line is going to be really, really good. So all around, I mean, obviously the negative in this game is your 3 corners get hurt. Zion McCollum had a concussion. You hope he can come back hopefully for week 2. I'm not sure with Josh Hayes, his situation, but clearly Bryce Hall is going to be out probably for the season. A dislocated ankle and fractured fibula. That was tough. That was a tough one to watch. But they did this without Logan Hall and Kalijah Kancey, who Kalijah Kancey was probably their best defensive lineman in the last 2 months last year, and is poised to have a great season. So I think defensively, listen, you hold them to 21 points, you've done a great job in the NFL. I know it's a rookie quarterback, but Jaden Daniels is special. He's going to be really, really good. He's going to be really, really good. He ran for 88 yards, which is not ideal. They let him out the back door way too many times, but they contained him enough to get the dub. And overall, I thought a phenomenal performance by this team. And great job by the crowd, too. The crowd was great. Too many Redskins fans, as usual, of the other team. But I thought great show, fantastic day. Couldn't ask for more in an opener.
I'll say this. I think the Buccaneers are a really, really good football team, and it really has nothing to do with the guys who played well. It's about the guys who I don't think had their best games. And I'm looking at, I mean, we love Tristan Wirfs. I think Tristan Wirfs would tell you this was not his greatest game. I mean, yeah, I'm anxious to look at some of the tape, especially to completely judge the offensive line. But I saw Tristan Wirfs got beat a few times, and it was, Clelin Ferrell, who's been a bust his entire career in the NFL. I actually thought the interior, Bredesen.
But are you really worried about him?
No. I'm just setting up my overall point here.
Yeah.
I thought the interior of the line early did not have a good start between Bredesen and Malk. Malk had a bad whiff on a play early on in the first quarter, I believe it was. Thought Barton too had some rookie moments, some welcome to the NFL moments in the league. But the encouraging part about the offensive line is in the second half of that game, they dominated. And that's when the run game, I mean, you go to halftime, you're looking at the run numbers, and you're like, okay, the Bucs still don't have a running game. Mm-hmm. And then in the second half, really after they came out and they had the first time they punted. And that could have been a turning moment in that game because we saw the Bucs do this a lot where they would get up and then it goes ultra conservative. They try to run the football to no success, and they allow the other team to get back in that game, and who knows what happens. Point. I thought that was the turning point because after that, the Bucs came right back out and they scored again. So I thought the offensive line play was average for the first half. I thought Antoine Winfield Jr. did not play nearly his best game. He had a few plays where he missed. I don't think Levante was as noticeable as you expect Levante David to be. You had 3 corners get hurt in this football game. You had to throw Christian Isian at outside corner, who has not done that since he was in high school, JP. Since high school has he taken reps at outside corner, and he came up with a nice PBU, and I think all things considered played pretty well in that role and having to do it in a pinch. And remind you that the Buccaneers, for the first few drives, they should have scored touchdowns. They should have scored touchdowns, not field goals. At least 3 of the field goals that McLaughlin hit, and shout out to him, he was money again. At least 2 of the field goals that he hit, those drives should have turned into touchdowns. And also the defensive game plan, I thought, for Jaden Daniels, I thought it sucked because you need to keep that guy in the pocket. I thought that would have been the right game plan. They did a horrible job of that, and they let Jaden Daniels get free way too much, and he killed you with his legs, and they were very lucky that just through the pass game, they could not get their guys involved. So I say all that in that the fact that they still won this game 37-20. And they scored 37 points. They only did that once last year. And by the way, that was in a losing effort against Houston in that game where the defense was horrible. So they did not play nearly as perfect as the score line would suggest, and they still won 37-20. That is what gives me confidence that this is a really, really good football team, because Tristan Wirfs is going to have far better days than he had yesterday.
Yeah.
Graham Barton and Cody Mauch are going to have better days than they have yesterday. Antoine Winfield's going to have better days than he had yesterday. Same goes for Levante David. And Kalijah Cansey, as you pointed out, did not play in this football game. And they still won 37-20.
Yeah, that's a great point. So you could say this was maybe their B- game and still won by 17 in the NFL. That's hard to do.
And the thing I will say about
Really
Liam
hard.
Cohen, we had guys running wide open all day. Jalen McMillan, like you had mentioned, he was wide open throughout this football game. And Baker, that was really the only thing you want to nitpick at him, was early on he was kind of overthrowing some dudes. Maybe he was a little amped up. I don't know. But after that, he was money for the entire game. I think he put the ball in harm's way once. Where there was it could have been a pick there on the sideline in the first quarter, I think. Outside of that, he was awesome. I thought it was one of the best games he's played maybe in his NFL career, certainly in his Bucs career. Probably rivals what he did against Green Bay last year in Lambeau. But the one thing I will say about Liam Cohen that I think they need to fix is I kind of got flashbacks to Dave Canales just a little bit last year in terms of they put themselves in bad situations where they had a lot of third downs and a lot of third and longs. And I don't think it's sustainable to go 9 of 13 on third down, probably.
Yeah.
But it was a credit to Baker Mayfield that he was awesome on those money downs. But that's one thing, I will nitpick at a little bit, is I think they need to do a little bit of a better job on first and second down and not putting themselves in third and long situations, because I think against better teams and maybe next week against Detroit, you're probably not going to go 9 of 13.
I agree. And I think a few of those situations were brought on by penalties. They had 7 penalties yesterday, and it seemed like all 7 of them were really big penalties. They had some really, really bad penalties yesterday, and they got to clean that up. That they came in inopportune times. Tyke Smith had a holding call on a third and long that you can't do that. Can't give them gifts like that on third and long.
The one player, the biggest negative of this game was Trey Palmer. He is. For a moment there, I was just like, you got to get him out of the. I was like, you got to get him out of the game at one point. He got called for 2 false start penalties in a row, and he had a holding penalty as well that negated a good play.
Yeah, that's and he had one catch on a great throw by Baker on a corner route, but he's killing you. He's hurting you more than he's helping you. Had a couple of nice returns. The kid's got. Listen, I'm not want to throw him out, just yet, but he's got to be better. This is nothing new. He had a few penalties last year. He holds when he doesn't need to hold. Like, bro, just let him go. The guy's already passed you. Have a little bit of self-awareness. He's got some work to do. There's no question about it. And maybe that's because he's feeling the heat from Jalen. But he better understand right now that Jalen McMillan is not going to take his job. He's going to be a number 1 down the line. You're not even close. I hate to say it, Trey, but you're not close. But he has something that the Bucs need. He could take the top off the defense with that 4.2 speed, 4.3 speed. I mean, he's got that, and it's something that the Bucs need to show a little bit more. He needs to catch one of those and make it something that the defense has to prepare for when he's on the field. And right now, that's not happening. Nobody's scared of Trey Palmer, but he's got the ability to do it. So that's just, that's where you say that guy didn't have a good game and could be much better in the future. So, this team, you mentioned this because you saw more football than I did, because I was at the Bucs game and concentrating on that, and I'll catch up on a bunch of the games. But from what I could tell across the league, there was a lot of sloppy play. Whereas the Bucs came out and scored on 7 of 8 possessions. 7 of 8 possessions. That's impressive.
The Bucs had one of, if not the cleanest operations of any offense in week 1. Baker's EPA, by the way, I think it was 0.63 or something, which was 20 points higher than the next highest quarterback, which was Josh Allen. And then after Josh Allen, it was Patrick Mahomes. So that just puts into perspective how good Baker Mayfield was in this football game. But NFL passing touchdowns in week 1, there's only been 33 of them. 33 passing touchdowns in week 1 across the league. Just put into context, in 2021, there were 61 of those. So we almost cut that in half 3 years later. And last year, there was only 37. So it's kind of a trend that you're seeing. I think the quarterback play around the league is getting honestly worse. I don't know what it is, but I did not see great quarterback play this week. But very fortunate if you're a Bucs fan, Baker Mayfield was one of the quarterbacks who absolutely just balled out.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, you go back to 21, and I have to look at it, but there'll be some quarterbacks that were playing back then that aren't playing now. Tom Brady being one of them.
Rodgers was still playing at his MVP level.
Yeah, there's this new breed of quarterback. There's going to be a lot more running touchdowns, but there's not going to be as many passing touchdowns. These quarterbacks that are coming, Caleb Williams passing the football yesterday was awful.
Horrible.
Awful. The Bears won 24-17 despite not having an offensive touchdown. I told you this about Caleb. I mean, I think it's going to be a while before I think Jaden Daniels is going to have a better year than Caleb Williams is going to have. He was not good. His footwork was terrible. He did not look like a professional quarterback. He's got a ways to go. He's got great talent, but it needs to be refined dramatically. He's got to learn how to play within a system in the NFL and not just freelance everything, which is what he did mostly.
He tried to freelance once in that game where he did one of those things where he was backing up in the pocket and trying to go around, and he couldn't even get outside of the pocket because the players in the NFL are just so much faster. They just contained him and they sacked him, and it was like a loss of 15.
All right, let's hit a couple comments, then we'll get to some of the sound as well from yesterday. Yeezy this morning, good morning to you, says, surprised at the amount of Redskins fans at Ray J. They were actually thinking they were going to blow us out. LOL, game wasn't even close at any point. That's the good thing about when the other team shows up, right? When you kick their ass, Eagles fans, it's kind of fun watching them walk out with their tail between their legs. But I had a couple of texts for some people in the crowd saying, again, I'm sick of Bucs fans selling their tickets because most of these are season ticket holders. And folks, it's not anybody can buy season tickets, and a lot of it is ticket brokers who buy the tickets and then sell them. Now, we've had some conversations with Brian Ford. They monitor this. If you sell too many, they dock you or they take it away from you. So they're doing their best, but it's more about the fans selling their tickets. Kenneth McClary says, hey, JP, I was watching your post game this morning. I realized that your sports web intro was almost as long as Jose Siri when he gets into his home run. I tell Peter that all the time. Get rid of all the intros, for God's sakes. Yes, you are correct. By the way, you can fast forward. Don't sit through that, for God's sakes. Please make use of the fast forward button. Easy. Need Zion healthy next week or we're in trouble in Detroit. I don't know. I watched that game last night, most of it, and Detroit did not look great. They did not look great, or the Rams are better than I thought they were. Matthew Stafford made some ridiculous plays.
Matthew Stafford is just he's a breed that you just don't have in the NFL nowadays. He's like Ben Roethlisberger, where like it looks like he's being held up by paper clips and shoestrings. Yeah, and he just keeps slinging. He just keeps throwing. His jersey looks like it's been through hell, and he just doesn't stop him whatsoever. I love watching Matt Stafford play, but I actually do have some concern when it comes to Detroit because we already know the problems that Amon-Ra St. Brown can present to an offense. Yes. We already know what Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery, Laporta, but Jameson Williams, he was the best player on the field last night. He's starting to figure out how to do this thing in the NFL, and that's what scares me is I don't know if the Bucs have anybody that can track that dude around for 4 quarters. So, a little bit of concern there. But I will say this, and I already see some comments in it. This is one of the trends in the NFL that I don't like, JP, is when a player goes down for anybody's team, the fan base starts going, they look at the free agent market, they go to that position, and they start going, you need to bring in this guy right now, this big name player who's past his prime. You have to bring him in right now.
Xavier Howard.
I mean, Xavier Howard, I might be able to have a conversation, but Patrick Peterson, I watched a lot of Steeler football last year. Patrick Peterson cannot play. He cannot play anymore. So you're fooling yourself if you think Patrick Peterson is going to come in here and do a good job, as far as I'm concerned. And I doubt that, honestly, the Bucs are going to bring anybody in.
Listen, this is something I don't worry about, and that's personnel. Jason Light's got this. If there's somebody out there worth getting, he'll go get him. If there's not, he won't. So I'm not losing any. I'm not using any sleep over it at all. Meets McGee says, I'd like to thank the Panthers for hiring Dave and Zach Robinson for choosing the Falcons. Yeah, week one, the Falcons, I think, probably the most disappointing week one.
The Browns, to me, take the cake. I'm sorry. The Browns, it's hard to top what the Browns did.
The Steelers couldn't even score a touchdown, and they won the game. 18.
No, the Falcons invent new ways to lose. That's just what they do.
I didn't watch the flow of the. I watched a little bit of it the first half. I watched most of the first half, and it was just Pittsburgh kicking field goals and the Falcons just making mistakes.
It was sloppy. The quarterback play in that football game was just it was hard.
Cousins
to watch.
was awful, right? 16 of 21. What? I wrote his numbers down here somewhere.
When you get outplayed by Justin Fields at the quarterback position, you got a lot to evaluate.
16 of 26, 155 yards. That's so Kirk Cousins. 16 of 26 throws for 155 yards. 2 interceptions. And
they were bad interceptions.
Yeah, they were bad. That dude can't move. He's 36 years old.
TJ Watt was TJ Watt was the best player, maybe of entire week one.
Oh my God.
He was everywhere in that football game.
He was a monster. I have to deal with him. To Kenneth says that's about the best I've seen Tampa look in opening weekend of football. They were crisp. There were not a whole lot of terrible mistakes. Tom is on the Patrick Peterson bandwagon. Nick shot that down, brother. James says, I've said 12 wins, but we'll drop to 11. So you don't say I'm nuts. This offense is so much better. OC much better, and still didn't play their best and still put up 37. So if D holds up, I like the Bucs chances. Yeah. And the defense can be much better. It can be so much better.
Yeah.
Elijah can't.
Hey, I was going to say too, speaking of the defense, shout out Servassier Dennis. I thought he got 20 snaps in, and I thought Servassier held his own. And that tells you right there, I don't think KJ Britt's going to be a true 3-9 linebacker, especially against a quarterback. Servassier did a hell of a job.
Yeah, he did. And remember, Bowles said Servassier was going to be a big part of this defense this year, and then he got hurt in training camp, so we kind of forgot about him. But yeah, there's another weapon. And hello, JTS. JTS, I actually saw you on the field, brother. How about that? Had a sack fumble, had another one taken away on a bad penalty again. He ran down Jane a couple times on the outside, used his speed. Very impressive. Yeah. Very nice to see you show up in a contract year.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Did you see Yaya Diaby too? Who, by the way, had a great start to this football game. You see, Yaya was playing a little bit inside too.
Yeah,
and he was having his way with the right guard for Washington early in that football game. So I love how they're moving him around a little bit to make up for the loss of some of the D tackles.
Yeah, Meets McGee had Jalen McMillan on his daily fantasy. I felt they would highlight him to warn dare the NFL to double Mike Evans. Look, again, Jalen was a part of the game plan, no question about it. He could have easily had 4 touchdowns. That would have been nice in your daily fantasy, would it not? Yeah. There was the Bucky chant every time he touched the ball. He's going to be a favorite. I hate that it kind of puts Rachaad White as not the favorite. I don't think that's fair. Rachaad, as I think it was James pointed out, lost 15 yards in rushing total, and a couple of those were, one of them was a bust by Tristan. I think another one was a bust by Graham, a bust. I mean, you're getting beat by all of these 2 ridiculously good tackles.
Well, let's keep it. If you keep it in the context of this, I mean, Rachaad White, his strength is a pass catcher. And what did he have? What did he have yesterday? I had the stats right in front of me.
6 for 59 catching.
It's six catches for 75 yards.
75, sorry, yeah.
I mean, and they were, and by the way, Liam Cohen was dialing them up. Like there was none of this. We're gonna wait to figure out what Rachaad is. No, they knew exactly what Rachaad was, and he is the Alvin Kamara of this offense. Alvin Kamara has never been a 1,000-yard rusher in his entire career. He's always been around that 700 to 800. I think that's where you're probably going to see Rachaad White this year, but I think he's going to push towards 800, 900 receiving yards.
Yeah. So listen, if he has 800 rushing and another 700 catching the football, that's great. Because you know what, Bucky, last year we had no number 2 rusher or catcher.
Right.
Now you're going to have another guy from the running back position that Bucky could have a 600-yard rushing year and a 600-yard receiving year. I mean,
Right.
now you're getting humongous production from 2 running backs, and they're going to be fresher at the end of the season when you need them the most. So, as Buck's Basement says, I think Rashad and Bucky are a perfect 1-2 punch. Todd Bowles' time management still leaves a lot to be desired. Cohen is better than Canales. I mean, Godwin looks like 21 Godwin. Barton, Rex, Hainsey. Yeah, I mean, these are all upgrades. These are all upgrades.
Were there any? I guess I didn't notice it. I don't know if you did, but Buck's Basement brought it up there. Was there any time management issues from Todd in that football? I didn't see anything.
I don't remember
off the top
any.
of my head.
I don't like. We won the toss, right? And then we deferred. I mean, we did not defer. We took the ball. I mean, It worked out. We got the lead, but I think you always defer to try to get that 2-for-1, at the end of the first half. That's just me being aggressive. What else we got? James says Baker was great with another year working with these weapons and adding J-Mac. I mean, Baker is loving this, and the good news is he has many years of football left. I mean, you don't want to – I hate not paying attention to the now and then looking towards the future. The season just started. I don't want to talk about the future of this team because you never know what's going to happen. But this is a very young offensive line. It's a very young offensive line that can grow together and play together for another 6 to 8 years.
It's not about how you look in week 1 if you're an offensive line, especially that's integrating 2 new pieces right in the middle of that. I mean, they're going to be much better in about 4, 5, 6 weeks down the line.
But to your point, Baker's under contract for 2 more years at $30 million.
Yep.
While Dak Prescott's getting double that. Okay. I mean, this is a team that has drafted tremendously well. Now, next year is going to have gobs of money in free agency with the young roster that's very economically paid. So now, whatever the deficiencies you have, if you need to go out and get a big-time edge rusher next year, you can do it. If you need to go out and get a big-time corner, hell, you could probably get both of them.
Yeah.
That's why this team is in such great position, folks. Drafting well sets you up to get these great free agents that you can kind of sprinkle in to go get a Christian McCaffrey if you need it.
Yeah.
That's what paying Baker Mayfield $30 million a year and Mike Evans $21 million instead of $39 that CD's getting. That's what this allows you to do. And these guys are okay with it. They're okay with it.
Yeah.
This is what makes this team so special is their camaraderie. And a lot of these, obviously Mike has made a lot of money in this league, but he could have held out and got more. Baker could have got more and gone somewhere else. They didn't do that. That's why I've been harping upon this all off season. Look how set up they are now for the next 2-3 years.
And can we just real quick? I mean, because I know we've mentioned him a little bit, but we haven't gone too deep into him. And I suppose what else do you say about the guy? But can I just say I love watching. This is such an easy thing to say, but I love watching Mike Evans play football. I love the way he goes about his business. I love that yesterday he was trending on Twitter during the game, and I'm looking through everybody's comments and people that work on ESPN and on NFL Network, and they're like talking about, man, Mike Evans, what a career he's had, so under the radar. And I'm like, well, ask yourself, why has he been so under the radar? Why is it taking for him in his age 31 year for people to go, oh my goodness, Mike Evans is having a Hall of Fame career, folks. He's really, really good. And it's like, we've been watching it for 11 years. And you guys have been fading him. And I said it yesterday. I'm like, you ranked him way too low in all your rankings. Everybody makes sure
go look at your rankings.
You put him way too low. The guy just goes out there and produces. I mean, 5 catches, 61 and 2 touchdowns. That's the Mike Evans MO. He was just, he's just a marvel to watch and go to work. And I just love watching the dude. And I'm very happy the Bucs were able to keep him signed for the duration of the end of his career here.
And, how the whole contract thing went, compare that to Jamar Chase.
Look at the drama that's been going on of all these guys. It's like, you just don't get any of that with Mike. And that's why I just love having this guy around.
So good. So great for the community. So humble in everything he does. How about the Schefter list that he put out a week ago of all the contracts for wide receivers in the offseason?
Mike's didn't make the list because he took less than a lot of the other guys got.
And he had 15 of them on there, I think, and Mike Evans wasn't one of them. I'm like, holy crap, dude!
Yeah, and do you see, by the way,
and not okay? There might be a couple future Hall of Famers on there, but Mike's definitely a future Hall of Famer. And if you leave him off.
And look at the difference in the way the Bucks had all their great vibes and everything throughout camp and how that translated to week 1. Did you watch the Bengals yesterday?
Awful.
Did you watch the Bengals who lost to the
Awful.
Patriots, who right next to the Panthers got to have the worst roster in the NFL?
Yeah.
And they can't get Jamar Chase was on the field, but T. Higgins isn't on the field. That's weird what's going on there.
What
All
happened
that
with T.
drama.
Higgins?
Well, T. Higgins, he had a hamstring injury thing, I think, pop up. But I think it's worth pointing out he wanted a long-term deal and he had to settle for the tag. And I mean, I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but I don't know if T. Higgins wants to play on that franchise tag. And Jamar Chase comes up with
he didn't yesterday. That's for
Jamar
damn
Chase
sure.
comes up with an illness on Saturday, and all of a sudden he's TBD to play. But there's nothing good going on in the Bengals right now in terms of camaraderie and vibes. And it's been the complete opposite in Tampa Bay.
And what's really weird about this is they're an NFL team. They have the revenue. It's given to them. Why are you not paying your players
The Bengals
market
have
rate?
always been a cheap franchise.
So cheap.
I don't get it.
So cheap. Unbelievable. Like you got star players. And if you don't think that is organizationally an issue, those two guys didn't play because they ain't getting paid what everybody else is getting paid. Don't fool yourself.
Well, Chase played, but
well, yeah.
he skipped out on everything up until the last hour.
Exactly. So that's a disaster. And that's why we make such a big deal of what's going on in Tampa. Camaraderie matters. Lack of drama matters. Being able to focus on football matters. All this other nonsense matters. It matters in a bad way. And it manifests itself in week 1 and will continue to manifest itself as long as we keep playing football. And that's why, Jason Light goes after the type of players that he goes after. Great citizens, leaders, guys with great values, humble guys that love football. It's a big deal. And they're just this entire roster is full of them.
Yeah.
And does that alone let you win a Super Bowl? No, you can't win with all choir boys. That's not what I'm saying. But when you take people off the list that are very talented football players, and it's hard to do, as Jason said on our interview last week, it's really hard to do sometimes because they're such good football players. But I've learned, he said, over the years, you can't change them. You can't change them. As much as you think you can, and your organization is great and your culture is fantastic, 9 times out of 10, you can't change them.
Hasn't that been the Bucks' MO for much of their history? Is trying to change some of these kids coming out of college.
It rarely works.
Yeah.
It rarely works. I have a list of them if you want to check it out. All right, a couple more comments. Then we'll hit our first break. TJC said, go make a move for Hassan Reddick. If culture is an issue, don't do it. Bring in Xavier Howard and Akella Witherspoon for a free agent tryout. Again, I don't know, honestly, any of these guys, what they're about. Outwardly, the Reddick holdout is not something I want to be part of. You want to play, come in and play, and we'll give you a new contract. If you want to stay out, then it'll be interesting if this turns into a Chris Jones thing with the Jets tonight. Going up against the 49ers.
Yeah, remember Chris watching Jones, on from the press box or something?
Watching from the press box. Then the Chiefs lose, right? And then he gets his contract the next day. They're like, yeah, we can't win without this guy.
It just doesn't look like it just doesn't seem like it's Jason Licht's MO to do something like that.
Well, this is what we talked about with him is the relationships you build up over time. Right? You can't just go like, oh, it's his contract time. Let's go have dinner together and build up a relationship. No. It doesn't work that way. From the day you draft them, he become Mike Evans, your first ever draft. Your families are one. You have great communication. You have great connection. So when it comes time for these contract talks, your wife is talking his wife into making Mike Evans stay, and everybody's happy about it. And it's the same with Baker Mayfield, the trust that he has in ownership and the trust that he has in Jason Licht, that they're going to do the right things. If I take less money, we're not going to go out and sign some jack-off who comes in here and yells about getting the ball. That's not going to happen. We're not signing any more Deshaun Jacksons or Chris Bakers. We're not doing that. We trust you to go out and spend that money on the players that are here that you want to keep.
2 words. Antonio Brown.
Exactly.
It worked until it didn't.
It worked until it didn't. That's right.
And I feel like that was the final straw for Jason Licht and that was a unique time, by the way. That was a unique time where, that was a great move to make and he helped you win a Super Bowl. But I think that was the moment where Jason said, okay, we did it. It did not have a fun ending and we're not doing it again. I'm going to draft and develop the guys that we have in the Bucs. I mean, how can you argue with the success that he's had doing it that way?
You can't. And I think we were all right about Antonio. Like he's a disaster.
And even the guy they bring in the offseason, the biggest name they brought in was Jordan Whitehead, and it was a guy who'd already had been here that you had drafted and developed and that Todd wanted. I think everybody here loved. Shows up yesterday. Back. He's wearing the Tampa Bay Rays hat. Are they still playing baseball? I don't know.
Who?
What? Yeah.
What?
But yeah, so there you go.
And who led the team in tackles yesterday? Jordan
Whitehead.
Jordan Whitehead. Welcome back. And nice pass defense as well. Almost had a pick. Yeah. It's kumbaya. So far, so good. It ain't going to be this way all year, folks. They're going to get blown out.
You want to bring in a veteran? This is a good comment. You want to bring in a veteran, Mike Stover right here. I'm sure you talked about this. You want to bring in a veteran, bring in Shaq Barrett. If he still wants to play ball, if he wants to come in for a league minimum type deal or something like that, hey, by all means, I'm fine with bringing a guy like that in.
Did you see him in his interview with Kay Adams?
Yeah.
He wants to come back. He doesn't want to come back. He's very happy being retired, and he looks very happy being retired.
But if he was going to come back?
He looks very, very happy. He's fat. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Well, his face was very full. I don't think he's in any shape to come back.
Probably not.
Jack, stay retired. We love you, man. You'll always be part of this. And we'll always
see you in the Ring of Honor. We'll see you in the Ring of Honor.
You just be your ambassador self and come around and flash that smile and that laugh, and that's all you need to do, partner. You don't need to play any more football unless you want to get into shape and you feel great and you come back and give us some Dwight Freeney snaps. Fine, I'm all for it.
That's just an example of some guy I would be comfortable bringing in because I know who the guy is. We all know who he is.
It's a great point. All right. We'll take our first break here. 42 minutes of content right off the top. Hope you love that. Thanks to all our sponsors for allowing us to do that. And we start with the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawgroup.com. Scott Jeeves, very happy with his Gator quarterback this past weekend, DJ Lagway. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to USF. We're going to get to the huge mistake and uncharacteristic mistake that Alex Golish made. Great showing by USF, but what are you doing? So we'll get to all that, including our Gator Report brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawgroup.com. Back in 3 with sound from the Buccaneers. Stay with us. Hey, it's football season, and we welcome back the Gator Report every Monday and Friday, sponsored by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawgroup.com. Just go to the website. You can contact them through there. Scott Jeeves is a tremendous, aggressive attorney and a big Gator fan, so we appreciate him supporting this show and, of course, your Florida Gators. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. Whether it's personal injury or anything else, any law matter at all, it's the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawgroup.com. Give them a call. Tell them JP sent you.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
JP here to ask the question, are you planning an event, meeting, or conference? If so, you'll want to call the designers and production professionals at Extravaganza Productions Incorporated. With over 35 years of experience in the events industry, designing and producing every type of small to large event, they can provide a huge resource for design ideas, audio, visual, sound, lighting, decor, and entertainment to turn your event into an incredible experience for the entire audience. Folks, I've worked up close and personal with this group at many national events and Tampa events, and they have unique capabilities that help you save time and money in the planning and execution of your next event. Don't delay. Call these pros today at 813-621-4700 or check out their website at extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you, and they'll provide a free initial consultation for your event. Extravaganza Productions, the best in the business. Golfers, listen up. The hottest new driving range craze has come to Rogers Park in Tampa. The Top Tracer range is now open 10 to 9 p.m. And just like you see on TV, every shot is tracked for yardage and accuracy, giving you immediate feedback. And best of all, you can virtually play the top courses like Pebble Beach or St. Andrews with your buddies. Plus, great food and drink options available in the well-appointed hitting bays. Very comfortable out there. Reservations highly recommended, starting at $25 per hour, including balls. Reserve at rogersparkgolf.net. That's rogersparkgolf.net. See you there.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. It's like JP is a little late getting back here out of the break, so we'll roll on here. Recapping the Bucs opening victory, 37-20 over the Washington Commanders. We have a lot of sound to play today, so I'll get into that first here. Baker Mayfield spoke yesterday to the media after the game. Thought he gave some really good stuff to us, so let's cue up Baker Mayfield here after the football game. We'll welcome JP back in. JP, you came in a little late from that break there.
Check on some of the family pets over here. They were yelling and screaming.
That's all fair. I was going to play the Baker sound right here if you're good to go to that.
Yeah, go right on. Let's go.
Baker, just talk about your day.
Is that a bowling shirt?
Passing.
Looks like.
You made some plays with your feet. You certainly made plays with your arm. Just week one for you and how this offense went.
Yeah, pretty efficient for the most part. Mentioned it right off the field. We just had to be more efficient in the red zone in the first half. Luckily Chase is pretty dialed in, so it's getting field goals out of that. We'll take points always, but we'd love to be able to score touchdowns. But guys were really efficient for the most part. Yeah, ball distributed, based on where the defense was dictating. So our guys, they just have to be ready, and they were.
What do you make of that first touchdown catch by Mike Evans?
I don't know how he does it, man. Just trying to put the ball in his vicinity. First one, I don't know how he got around him and put his paws on it, but somehow he did, and that's what he does. I mean, that second touchdown to him was not really a good throw at all. He made an unbelievable play again. It's just when one-on-one coverage with Mike, those aren't 50-50 balls. It's leaning towards Mr. Evans.
You feel like Chris Godwin is back, as Chris Godwin, he had 3 third down catches, I think, right away. The touchdown to get him in the end zone. What was it like to have Chris playing this one?
Chris feels really good right now. I think he'll tell you guys that physically he feels good. And, just this offense, it plays to his strengths. And so he's always been a smart football player. He's willing to do whatever the coaches are going to ask. But this is now his opportunity to really shine, get back to that at least. He's always been a stud. But, Chris looks really good. So, and, the more J-Mac can come along and some of these young receivers, the better it's going to be for Mike and Chris as well.
I missed J-Mac a couple of times. One I think probably would like to catch, but and then you come back to the touchdown, his first reception. So what was it like kind of hanging with him and getting a feel for him?
J-Mac's an interesting guy. His emotions, it's kind of like a little roller coaster, but it's a fun ride to be on. But just tell him to stay with it. And he handled his first game really, really well. The ebbs and flows of a game, he was locked in the whole time, so he took advantage of his opportunity later on.
So even in first games, can you talk about the game that Bucky Irving had? There was some time for the crowds chanting Bucky.
You know what? It's some of those holes were pretty wide, but Bucky, when he hits the hole, he's hitting it. He hits it full speed, and so it's just good to be able to have somebody come in right after Rashad's being able to make plays and hit it like that. And obviously, I thought the O-line played really well, but when those guys have a chance to make somebody miss one-on-one, it's pretty fun to see.
Baker, you talked about this offense giving you more options on the line of scrimmage. Did you use that a lot today, and how much more comfortable are you with this offense and more things it gives you?
Yeah, really didn't have to do too much. I thought Liam called a great game. There were a few protection adjustments just based on what they were doing. A few times when we were checking a play, they'd flip the pressure and things like that. But, didn't really have to reach into the toolbox too much today. Liam called a great game.
In terms
Even
of
more
the
upside
offensive line, how do you
for the
think Graham
offense.
Martin did in his first game?
Really well. Those two guys they have on the interior are no slouches. So I thought guys played well up front. Everybody did. So we're going to look at the tape, but anytime you're that efficient on offense, the big men up front play well.
Hey, Baker, you
That's
use
for
your
sure.
legs a little bit more often today. Is that by design or just as needed to keep the play in bounds? Because you didn't have too many incompletions on the day.
Just as needed. One of them, when I scrambled, I probably could have thrown it to Cade on the left sideline, but just wound up trying to make a play on third down. But yeah, it's whenever they drop into coverage, like I said earlier on the pass game, defense coverage is going to dictate where the ball needs to go. And likewise, if I need to scramble out and gain a couple yards.
Baker, do you feel maybe as an offense a little bit more responsibility moving forward, considering the defensive injuries that have happened recently? And what can you say about that unit as well to kind of have the game that they did?
Yeah, a few times looking out there and seeing guys that aren't in their right spots. Izzy's playing corner. That guy stepped up big time. You got a lot of guys that it's just the way the game goes. But I thought our defense played lights out. Jaden Daniels is not easy to tackle. He's elusive, man. They stayed with the plan and held him to a lot of points. So I thought the defense played outstanding. They really did.
Baker, not a perfect night offensively, but I have to imagine you couldn't have hoped for too much more out of a week one game from this new offense.
Yeah, there's definitely things that we can work on. Like I mentioned, finishing in the end zone instead of the field goals in the first half. But yeah, we'll look at the tape and get better from it. But I thought we finished really, really strong. To be able to run the ball like we did on the last drive and finish in the end zone, that's a back-breaking drive. And that's credit to the guys up front, receivers, tight ends blocking, running backs hitting the hole. And it takes the morale out of the other team.
Baker, you guys have had an awesome off season, getting everybody back, but they put it all together in game one. What does it feel like just in terms of moving forward with this team?
That's the standard that this group has. We expect to be able to come out and be that efficient. Every game's going to be different. This is the NFL. It's highly competitive, but we expect to be able to be that efficient on offense. Defense is going to play physical. But yeah, it's good to see that we came out week one, put everything together. Like I said, there's still stuff to work on, but this is a good building block for us.
I know you're going to enjoy this win, but the Detroit Lions are up next. That's a team to see. I think a lot of these guys.
Buzz killer Scott Reynolds going right there.
Is Nelson back in here?
Guys have circled it week two.
Yeah.
Just talk about maybe what that game means.
Yeah. You know what? That's anytime you finish the season against somebody on the road, especially, and then you play them early on, it's something that you always look forward to, especially at the competition level. Detroit it's a fun place to play. Dan Campbell always has those guys ready to play. So, we're looking forward to it. There's a lot of things to learn on from this tape, but whenever you're playing them, you expect it to be a really physical game. So we got to be ready for that. Got to be able to handle the crowd noise. But, yeah, like you said, enjoy this win. Never take wins in this league for granted, and then move on.
Baker, you seem to really enjoy that one run for a first down. How do you balance going down or taking on those tacklers?
I tried to juke out Bobby Wagner earlier. It didn't work out. I really don't have it, even though I think I do. But, yeah, later on, if it's a guy coming from the side, just a couple extra yards. But, yeah, ultimately protect myself. Got to be smart.
So about the offensive line performance for today, how do you feel with them? Your thoughts on the offensive line for today's performance?
I feel really confident. Like I said, I thought they played really well. That front seven that they have, they bring some different looks, pressures, and just the matchups are not easy. And I thought they played really well.
Baker Mayfield, right there, your highest rated NFL quarterback in week one.
Stop the count. Stop the count.
I think I'm in line to be the offensive player of the week, I would think. I'm trying to think. There's some good performances yesterday, but
tell you what, Tyreek Hill having a Scotty Scheffler-esque performance is going to be up there. There's no doubt about that.
You know what? And I got to. Well, we're not done with the Bucs sound. We'll get to some of that later. But you mentioned that. I was watching Tyreek's interview, and I got to give him a lot of credit because I think he could have done he could have gone really negative with it. I think it would have been fair for him to do that. But he said, basically, we're going to make this into a positive. I support law enforcement, but there are some bad apples. And that's it. That's the way it is. Nobody's perfect in law enforcement, and they're put under a lot of stress, and they make mistakes. I don't know if there was a lot of stress in this particular situation.
Yeah,
The Scotty Scheffler thing was certainly an overzealous cop, and we may have the same thing here. But he didn't go all.
Yeah, I was going to say we're still trying to piece it all together. Really, what happened? Like, I guess there's an investigation. I think the officer was placed on administrative leave. I think, but even like Calais Campbell revealing, and Calais Campbell's like like the most laid back dude and everything, at least from what we know, veteran in this league, and he was put into handcuffs for simply being there. Like it was.
Evidently, he did not acquiesce to the command of the cop at the time. And when you get into that situation, there's certain protocols that we don't understand as lay citizens that police have to implement because they've gone through bazillion of these type of things. And one of them is you cannot have other bystanders within a certain area because that can go nuts and they could grab your gun. You're not paying attention to them. It's all protocols. Like you cannot, if a police officer is administering some type of arrest, you can't have other people around supporting them, milling around. It's like a no-go zone. And you have to say, sir, please step away. And if they don't step away, there are consequences to that. Now, I'm not saying, in this particular situation, it was correct or I wasn't there. We haven't seen the body cam footage, but I do. And I think cops will tell you these things. There are certain protocols that they have to enforce. And if you don't listen to them, listen, obey the cops and let it. I know this all can be conflagrated out to something. Every situation is different, but just in general, obey the cops and it should be okay for the most part. I know it's not always like that. And trust me, I've had issues with cops as well where it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. Let's just put it that way. And they were in the wrong. But in the end, you better listen to them and figure that part out later. And worked out fine for me. It could have been a lot worse. So I understand. We got to see the body cam footage and everything. But I want to just compliment Tyreek Hill on the way he handled the whole thing from a press conference situation, because he said, I've got my state trooper hat. I support law enforcement. There are some bad apples. This didn't, I don't think this was right, but we're going to figure it all out and turn it into a positive. And I think that's a hell of a way to handle the whole thing. And it would, if it's a Scotty Scheffler thing, which we thought right away, this looks like a really overzealous cop. Seems to be the same situation here. I didn't see the body cam footage, but my God, why is Tyreek Hill face down on the concrete in handcuffs?
It seemed very excessive.
I think we can handle this a different way. Can we not? I mean, that seems a little over the top.
It almost comes off, and again, we don't know. It just comes off like a cop who's like, probably knows who Tyreek Hill is. I mean, I'm just going to assume.
Working that beat right next to the
it's
stadium,
like it's like a badge of honor. It's like a badge of honor. Like, ooh, look at me! I've got Tyreek Hill face down on the ground.
Yeah.
Like, that's just how it comes off.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, again, we don't know. We don't know. We're all speculating. I'm sure
he's going to come out. If he was driving at 130 miles an hour down that road because he was late and putting people in danger or recklessly driving.
Yeah, or
and
Tyreek.
And then when he was pulled over, said, F you, I got to get to the game. I'm Tyreek effing Hill. Then I'm going to look at this.
We're all gonna find out that context later, obviously. But
But at this point, from what we saw, the video that we've seen, it seems, and then we didn't see the arrest. We didn't see him driving, so we don't know any of that. So, want to be fair. Let's reserve judgment. But I'm just, the one thing I can say is I thought he handled it well.
The one thing what I will say too is immediately
after the touchdown was awesome.
Immediately when I saw it happen, like, not to like make jokes of it or make light fun of it, but I just figured, I think we all did, okay, Tyreek Hill's going to go have a day.
Yeah.
After that. He's going to go have a
him
day.
in my daily fantasy right away.
And I think 7 for 132 and a tud. I mean, he went in, and he even the celebration he did, he changed it up where he put his hands behind his back and everything. He's a fun dude.
Yep, loved it. Good stuff. But the Dolphins, by the way, I had Jacksonville in that game, and the Jags, how do you lose that game? Come on.
The quarterback doesn't make enough plays in crunch time. I'm waiting for someone. I know he makes some really good throws, but he just can't put a full game together.
$55 million a year.
It's a lot of money. I'm waiting for this transcendent talent that I know is in there. I see some amazing throws from Trevor Lawrence, and I saw it early in that game, but the whole offense just faded.
Where does it go when it's crunch time, man?
I don't know.
Tua seemed to find it.
He found it a little bit, obviously, because he found Tyreek Hill. That makes it a little bit easier. But no, Jacksonville
right after the
just
big turnover too.
Off there.
They go right after it. Yeah. Yep. Some guys know how to win, and some guys don't. No matter their talent, it's like Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert seem to be the same guy. Pretty long hair, big arm.
I've seen way more from Herbert than I have from Trevor Lawrence at this point.
How many playoff games has Trevor won? One?
I think he's got the one playoff win. I don't think Herbert has any.
Yeah.
The one Trevor has was against the Chargers when the Chargers had a 27-0 lead and they blew
meltdown. Yeah, and he threw like 4 picks in the first half.
Yeah.
But it was bizarre.
But the recipe that they had yesterday for the Chargers was, it was definitely Jim Harbaugh football.
Yeah.
run, and run some more. The physicality was a little bit different. Looked like a different Chargers team than we've. Going from Brandon Staley to Jim Harbaugh has got to be the biggest coaching upgrade one year to the next that I think I've ever seen.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. All right, we got a lot of college football to get to. We got more Bucks to get to as well. My interview with Tristan Wirfs after the game. Want to get to that, and Graham Barton. We got USF to talk about. We got the Gators to talk about. What else? And a lot of other NFL stuff that we got to get to. So many other games yesterday. Lots more coming your way. We're brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. The great Chris Lugo will be handling your primary care, being your primary care physician. It's what he does for me, what he does for Nick, and many, many more. Does a great job and really spends time with you. And it's about preventative medicine first. Keep you healthy so you don't have to get sick and get any of those terrible drugs you have to put into your system when you get sick. Just stay healthy. And that's the way we do it at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. They'll give you great supplements, testosterone, hormone therapy if you need it, if you need to lose weight. They've got great programs for that as well. It's all at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Back in 3. Celebrate August with the dazzling green hue of Peridot, known for its vibrant and refreshing sparkle. Yes, that's the birthstone of August at the Gold and Diamond Source. Explore the Gold and Diamond Source's stunning collection of Peridot jewelry, showcasing the gemstone's unique glow and versatility in rings, necklaces, and earrings. Peridot's distinctive color makes it a standout choice for any occasion, adding a touch of elegance and charm to your ensemble. Enjoy 15% off when you shop August Gems online only. Stop by the Golden Diamond Source to experience the allure of August Gem and let their expert staff help you find the perfect Peridot piece. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmsted Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Hey, it's football season, so we welcome back the FSU Football Report every Monday and Friday on the J.P. Peterson Show, sponsored by those huge FSU fans at Italiano Insurance. They'll save you money as well. Just do a quick insurance checkup, 813-877-7799. They just saved me $500 on homeowners insurance. Who's doing that? Yeah, they just shopped it around, found a better, cheaper company, and we got a cheaper price. And business insurance. Make sure you're covered or you could lose your personal wealth. That's 813-877-7799. ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Noles.
Hey Tampa Bay sports fans, this is two-time LPGA major champion Jane Geddes here. After winning the US Open and 10 other LPGA events, I wanted to try something completely different. So I came right off the top turnbuckle and landed in the crazy world of WWE. And yes, you heard that right, that's WWE. Working for the Vince McMahon as the VP of Talent Relations for the company. Now, though, I want to work for you. Everything I've done in my life, I've done with incredible passion. And now I've turned my focus to leading the best real estate team in Tampa Bay, the Gettys Gordon Group with Keller Williams in South Tampa. If you're looking for a new home, an investment property, or looking to sell your current home, we will give you major championship level service. When you choose Gettys Gordon Group, you become part of our inner circle, like family. So if you're looking for a few golf tips or a golf course view, we're going to stripe it right down the fairway. Call me at 813-485-6808 or go to gettysgordongroup.com, or again, give me a ring at 813-485-6808.
JP here for Third Generation AC and Plumbing. And Third Generation really says it all, folks. The owner, my friend John Rodriguez, has been in the AC and plumbing business since 1995. They built their business on honest assessments and doing great work on time for a great price. Simple, right? Did you know many AC techs are incentivized on big commissions to sell new AC units, and you might just need a drain cleared? So if you want someone you can trust, that's John Rodriguez and Third Generation Services. Check out the 5-star Google reviews. If you have a plumbing or AC emergency, call 813-961-8024 and a human will answer the phone. That's 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, one of South Tampa premier traditional Italian restaurant. We were recently voted number 3 on Open Table list of Tampa Bay's top 10 restaurants. We're very proud of that because we take great care of preparing each dish by hand with homemade sauces, pastas, only the freshest local ingredients. You won't see the big institutional vendor trucks pulling up to our back door. We get our seafood from local vendors. Sometimes I even drive out to Topper Springs and pick out our daily catch right off those boats. So stop by and say hello. Try our traditional lasagna, the fresh veal, some of our signature dishes like capelli al granchio, that is angel hair with lump crab meat, our branzino, that is a sea bass. We're located at 4205 South McDill, and you can make a reservation on Open Table and read all the great reviews. See you soon. Ciao. Grazie.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show as we're brought to you by Italiano Insurance. Call Charity over there, 813-877-7799. Great customer service. Some of these insurance issues, especially with homeowners insurance, can get really detailed. To get the discounts that you want to get. Sometimes you got to go jump through some hoops. They'll make you do it, but it's worth it if you can save, hundreds and thousands of dollars. And you probably don't even know of some of these discounts that you're eligible for, but she does. And the great folks over there do. So give them a call, 813-877-7799. These are things that a lot of the agencies aren't going to take the time, or if you do a 1-800 number, they're not going to take the time to say, oh, you should be getting these discounts as well. They don't care. They want to charge you more money. So let somebody handle that for you. That's Italiano Insurance. Great personal customer service. 813-877-7799 and tell them JP sent you. All right, you want to transfer to a little talk a little USF here, my friend? We'll get back to
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
I just actually had a really nice text from a longtime buddy of mine, Eric Steele. He went to the game. We're going to have him on tomorrow. And his son used to play with my son at Cambridge Christian. Made the travel team for USF and played there. I mean, it's an incredible atmosphere. I've never been to Tuscaloosa. It's one of the few stadiums I've not been to, but he went and he said, yeah, I got to come on the show and tell you. Well, I invited him on the show. He said it was the Alabama experience is unreal, man. No wonder they kill everyone. Awesome game experience. And I said, yeah, that was, what about Golish going for it in the fourth quarter? He said it was crazy. It looked like the refs said, okay, that's enough, and started calling penalties on our offense and stopped calling the holding penalties on their defense. I think that's right. I mean, there were some really bad calls that went against USF. And in that fourth quarter, they're making this push. And Naquan Wright has 2 19-yard runs. They get it down to they did call the obvious PI. They get it down to the 4-yard line, and you kick a field goal at 21-13. you're one score down against Alabama, and you said I didn't think it was that late in the fourth quarter. It was what, 6 minutes left in the game?
I could have swore it was like with 6 minutes left in the game. But mind you, I was watching this game from the press box at UCF. So
okay, all right.
I was looking two different places.
I just remember saying, "Wow, how did he not go for that?" And that when you could have tied, they were down 8 points, they could have tied the game. I mean, how does that get the sphincter at Alabama all shrunk up? I mean, it's a totally different situation, and in a matter of moments, they're down scoring another touchdown. They scored 28 points in the fourth quarter, final 10 minutes. I think it was maybe 10 minutes left in the game, and the game's over. But man, I mean, I don't want to criticize Golish, because to take that team into Alabama and have a chance to be within one score in the fourth quarter, that is insane. That is absolutely unbelievable, and all due credit goes to him and his staff and everybody, the players at USF. And your quarterback, from a passing standpoint, was terrible.
Yeah, that was unfortunately the difference. It really was, because I thought at halftime, I know USF was down 14-6 at half. I thought USF had outplayed them. I really thought USF had outplayed them.
Yes.
Todd Orlando was dialing up the blitzes from any and everywhere. This Deshaun Rucker was having a game back there in that defense for USF. But Byron Brown early had 3 or 4 long shots and guys that had yards of separation. And if you just hit one of those, that game could be different. He missed every single one of them. That was very unfortunate, is that for the second straight year, Byron Brown was unable to deliver throwing the football for USF. But on the other side of it, for a while there, their entire offense was Byron Brown running the football and being a one-man battering ram. But they got down to the red zone a lot, and they just unfortunately, I mean, when you play Alabama at Alabama, you've got to score touchdowns. You can't score field goals. And that was unfortunately the difference. And then the last 6 minutes of that game, it just completely got away from them. I hate it that it makes the scoreline look as lopsided, because we learned that South Florida theoretically should be able to play with anybody in the country.
They were right.
When Golish made that comment about, well, they got to play South Florida, you're saying something pretty big right there.
It was outlandish.
It was a little outlandish, but I tell you what, I don't think Alabama's rushing to schedule South Florida for a 2v1 going forward.
No, they backed it up. This tells me that, yes, at their best, they can play with anybody. And I was very cynical of that. I mean, USF used to be on par with Western Kentucky. They're no longer. They should beat every team on their schedule except Miami. I'll give them.
Miami's going to be tough to play against, because Miami's physical, but I think they'll give Miami a game.
Yeah.
Why can't they?
Well, if they did that with Alabama, why can't they? I'm just saying, I think they should be almost favored to win every game except Miami. Can they beat Miami? Hell yeah, they can beat Miami, especially at home. If they get some home cooking like the Alabama got, that would be really helpful.
Yeah, it's going to be it's a sneaky little tough. They get Southern Miss this week, but then they go Miami, at Tulane, at home against Memphis. Tulane looks to be much better than we thought they were, and Memphis obviously is one of the best Group of 5 teams. So that 3-game stretch is going to tell us a lot about USF. But absolutely, you think they can play with anybody in the country based on what you saw the other night. But again, that call from Alex Golish, I think it's as simple as he trusted his defense based on what he had seen in that game. But eventually, probably tells you Alabama's going to break through offensively, and they did late in that football.
Yeah, I just love the way they played defensively, the way they played. The running game, I thought especially, was they held up in the trenches for the most part against Alabama.
Oh, they were abusing the right tackle for Alabama. Poor guy. He had 5 penalties in that football game and was getting work. So it was a good job, again, like I said, from Todd Orlando dialing up these blitzes. But I wanted to play this clip, JP. I don't know if you saw this. This was after the game. And this was sort of going around, and I think he was asked a question maybe about moral victories or take away some good parts of this game, and he had an interesting response to that.
Literally, I started off with, I'm gonna be real with you, as I have for the 21 months I've been the head coach here. For 3.5 quarters, it was really good. we got to figure out what in the world happened the last 6 minutes of that game, because what happened the last 6 minutes of that game was really, really bad. It was garbage. So 3.5 minutes, really good ball. 3.5 quarters, really good ball. The second half of the fourth quarter, really bad ball. It ends up getting out of hand and goes from a one-possession game to whatever it ended up being. Looks really, really lopsided, and it wasn't. So if you're looking for a quote, you can have it, but like, there are no moral victories. Like, I told our guys that we could play with anybody in the country. I know we can. Got one of the best quarterbacks in the country there. You got a running back room that's as good as anywhere. Our O-line played their butts off. That defense put that gold helmet all over these cats. We can play with anybody in the country. I don't know. You can ask them what they think. I'm sure you will. I would say we can play with anybody in the country. The first 3.5 quarters. That's real. There are no moral victories. Like that, it just. Hopefully you guys have figured out. I'm just going to tell you the truth, and that's the truth, and that's real. We're 1-1, and tonight wasn't good enough, and we came up here to win the football game.
I get it. You want to instill that mindset in your team, and that's the way you do it. What happened to precipitate that collapse? I mean, there has to be some remorse from him. He's got to look back on that and go, listen, I know his quarterback was not on target. I know that, even from the 4-yard line, which I think it was the 4-yard line, it's not the easiest, but it still is a two-way go. You can run it in from the 4-yard line. Your quarterback can run it in from the 4-yard line. I got to give him a chance. I mean, you still got to score a touchdown anyway. What are you doing? You got to go for the touchdown there. You're at the 4-yard line.
Yeah.
You got to go for the touchdown. And guess what? Your team after that collapsed because you didn't have the faith in them to go for it. Is that fair?
Yeah.
I mean, I know he's being, it wasn't good enough. It wasn't good. Were USF fans pissed off on Twitter about this comment, or were they like, that's our coach? I don't want to criticize the guy because the 40,000 foot macro here is you kicked ass in that game. You can play with anybody. He's absolutely right.
Yeah, there was some like, it was a little bit of both. A lot of people, loved what Gola said there. And there was some other comments like, by going with that field goal, you told your team that you weren't trying to win that football game.
Yeah.
Was the messaging. So you kind of could see it from both ways. I mean, I do appreciate it. You could tell it bothers him. Like, he's not content with like, oh, we're USF. We play in the AAC. We're playing Alabama at on the road. We're getting paid a lot of money to play them. Like, we're just here to, play our game and see what happens. Let's hope we don't get blown out. Like, no, he's pissed off at the fact that he was in that football game, and clearly he didn't say it, but I'm sure he does have remorse that he was part of the reason why maybe that started unraveling late in that game. But I do appreciate if you're a USF fan that at least this guy has a lot of ambition for what he wants to take, where he wants to take this program, and he's not content even losing to Alabama.
I appreciate that. We can all appreciate that. I think, and then the second half of that, he certainly gave his team their props, right, which was good. I thought, and so I think he got the only thing missing from that would have been him saying, you know what, I probably should have had a little bit more faith in my team and gone for it at that particular. That's on me. That one's on me. Some of the missed tackles after that, we got to clean that up. But just in general, 6 minutes left in the game, I got to go for that. That's my bad.
But,
that's about it. I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. The bigger thing is he's taking that program from absolute shiz house to playing at Alabama and having a chance to tie them or even go ahead in the fourth quarter at their place. I mean, that's just That's insane progress. And it is a building block. I'm not saying it's a moral victory, but if you're not looking at that as a building block in this program's history, then you're not. And he is. And inside, he knows that it is a building block. And inside, he knows that these guys now know that they're expected to go out and beat Miami. And they're expected to beat everybody on their schedule. And they have the ability to do so. And if their quarterback had 50% of the throwing talent that he's displayed most of his career, for whatever reason, he was off. He was off on his game. And, going into a 110,000, 100,000, whatever it is, stadium is a pretty good excuse. Okay. And he would never say that, but I'll just say as an observer, it can happen. And he'll grow from this. He's still a sophomore. I mean, he's still he's 20 years old?
Yeah.
Just turned 20 years old. I mean, yeah, he'll grow from this and he'll be better next time. So I think it's an overwhelming positive. The whole damn night was an overwhelming positive. ESPN, prime time,
the game that Nick Saban is getting the field named after him too.
It was like when Ron Zook came in and beat Bobby Bowden on Bobby Bowden Field Day. Never let that down. Damn Gators. That was a hell of a performance. So I don't want to get bogged up in the minutia of him. Making what I think was the wrong decision there, but whatever. The bigger thing is you went in there and you went toe to toe with Alabama, and
you did it 2 years in a row. You did it
2
years in a row.
Yeah, it showed that last year wasn't a fluke. So let's not follow this up with a 40-point loss to Alabama Birmingham. Okay, let's
2 weeks after the Alabama game last year, they got their ass kicked by FAU.
Right. So let's not let that happen. And I don't think it will. This is a different team. It's a different time. Kudos to Alex Golish, this entire team. They did a hell of a job. They represented USF well. The final score means nothing.
Yeah. Good amount of fans too that made the trip to Tuscaloosa.
Yes, a ton of fans. So we'll have one of the dads on tomorrow. Eric Steele will join us, former Florida State linebacker himself. I think he was a linebacker. So we'll just give us a feel for what that was about, because I know I had some friends that went to the game as well. So USF represented well in many, many ways, and this program is definitely on the rise, and that's good stuff. Really, really good stuff. All right, UF DJ Lagway. You really going to send him back to the bench, Billy Napier? Are you an effing idiot? What are you doing? I mean, I know it was Samford, but 456 yards?
Yeah. And 4 touchdowns, something like that?
Yeah. 18 for 25, 456, no sacks, no turnovers. The dude's, I didn't realize he was that big. He's 6'3", 240.
He's a unit.
I mean, as Jesse Palmer said in week 1 when Lagway came in, it just looks different.
Yeah.
It just looks different. Listen, Graham Mertz is not the future. This season is not the future. Getting DJ Lagway ready for the future. Now, if you're worried about him getting pummeled, against who they got next? They got Tennessee coming up.
They have Texas A&M, I believe, on the road.
Yeah. So if you're worried about him getting destroyed on the road, and when your offensive line being overrun, okay, maybe
never mind. They're at home against Texas A&M.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know how you go back to Graham Mertz. It's like same with Mike Norvell. How the hell do you go back to DJU when you've got a 4-star and a 5-star waiting in the wings, and this season is done? Like,
yeah, I think Billy said some kind of thing. He was asked about it, and he said, we're going to stay the course, I think was the verbiage he used in regards to Lagway and Mertz. And when you say stay the course, does that mean that when Mertz gets concussion free, he's going back to being the starting quarterback? That's the way I think a lot of people read that comment.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's like, I understand Mertz was a great soldier for you last year, right? Yeah. When a bad situation, but last year's last year. This year's this year. DJ Lagway was a 5-star quarterback. I know, when you touch the field, all that stuff goes away. But in terms of where Florida is right now, and I hate that Florida has to say this because Florida should be above this, but you got to sell hope.
Yeah.
You got to sell hope. And going back to Graham Mertz is just sort of like, that would be so deflating, I think, for a fan base. And if, let's say, Graham Mertz goes in there against Texas A&M, you're at home, and the Florida offense is not moving the football and Billy's just staying with it, can you imagine how that crowd is going to turn? I mean, he's already lost the fan base. And that's why I think Billy Napier is already done, is because the fan base, I think that stuff matters. When the fan base turns on you, I don't think you can get him back. And if he goes back to Graham Mertz, I just don't know what kind of message that is sending, because DJ Lagway, and yes, I understand it's Samford, played as perfect as a football game as you possibly could, especially for a true freshman quarterback making his first start at the University of Florida with all the crap and all the noise that was going on this week. It feels like they settled things down a little bit, and let's get back on track. Texas A&M is not a great football team. I think we saw that against Notre Dame, and they were playing in their own home field, right? They're not a great football team, you know?
And then Notre Dame goes and loses to Northern Illinois, so it's not like you lost the eventual national champion.
Exactly. It's like, if you're Billy Napier, I don't know how you go back to Graham Mertz, and it has nothing to do against Graham. It just, you have to put, in my opinion, you got to see what you have in DJ Lagway. You have to.
Yeah, like I said, if he's, that offensive line did not do Graham Mertz any. So I can. There's definitely an argument that you can spoil a kid's confidence.
He's not. But here's the thing: he's not the future. Graham Mertz, after this season's over, will be gone. Yeah. It's the same thing at Florida State. It's why putting in DJU back out there is nonsense, because DJU is gone after this year and isn't helping you. So Florida State needs to turn to Brock Glenn right now, the same way Florida needs to turn to DJ Lagway right now, because these guys are hopefully going to be in your program for the next 3-4 years or beyond.
What's with the DJ, by the way? Like, FSU should be DJ free. No DJ in the booth, no DJ at quarterback, no DJ at linebacker. I'm done with the DJs at FSU.
The DJ thing, JP, with the war chant and all that, is who's making decisions at Florida State right now?
The players, I guess.
Wait, you mean the players? You mean the players who came to the transfer portal?
Right.
Who don't love FSU. They're just here as mercenaries.
Who have no idea what the traditions are. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Ridiculous. I mean, I think
Florida State's more of a dumpster fire at the moment in the eyes of many than Florida is. I mean that too. Florida State has been a dumpster fire to start this season. And I think it's even worse than what Florida's been.
Well,
because when you factor in that part of it, in my opinion.
Well, listen, if I'm being a lot of the outside noise, I think, is very disingenuous, as you know. I think it's the narrative that they quit on Norvell, for the Orange Bowl, and Georgia's team didn't, is so stupid and so ignoring the context of everything that happened. It's ridiculous, but it's real, and a lot of people, if you don't know the inner story or you don't buy into it, you from the outside, it's like, oh, half your team left and quit on the coach for the bowl game. You got crushed by Georgia. Morons. And now, you're bitching and moaning about getting out of the ACC. You're going to sue everybody if things don't go your way. I mean, this is all just Twitter nonsense. When the actuality is, we're being completely disenfranchised by our own conference, and we want to get out. We want what we're due. I mean, we won't get into this whole argument, but any team would do the same damn thing if they were in FSU's position. Any athletic director would. Or you're not doing your job. So that, I think, is a false narrative as well. But it's still all piling on FSU, to your point. And then you go out and lose 2 games because you're not nearly the team that you were last year, just like Michigan. You lose that much talent and that much playmaking, you're going to lose football games. And that's what's happened. So, right now, FSU, I think it's more of a dumpster fire than Florida, to be quite honest, because how do you turn this season around? Florida was expected to have a rough year. They were expected to have a rough year because of the schedule and their roster and their coach and all that. So I don't think this is a shock to anybody. To FSU, it's a shock. To many fans, it's a shock. And it looks bad. And of course, ESPN's piling on because that's what they do. So I get it. Yeah, it's a bad situation. And Mike Norvell needs to make some bold moves to get him out of it.
Well, the thing is, at least with Florida, it's like
that terrible quarterback.
Yeah, at least with Florida, it's like at least you have a DJ Lagway who you can look forward to seeing
Jiminy Christmas
every Saturday. Hopefully,
you're not
if
going to use
Napier
them,
makes the
send them
right
to
decision.
Tallahassee. We'll use
Right.
them.
Florida State, it's like when game day comes, I feel like you're not even like, are you even excited, or are you more just like you're holding on for your life at this point?
No, you're terrified.
And they're favored. They are favored by 6 points against Memphis, which is crazy.
It's crazy.
I think the odds makers are just doing this on purpose so they could have Florida State set the record for the most games lost in a season being a favorite by a touchdown or more or something.
I think you might be right. It's a conspiracy. But if you don't know the music thing, by the way, I don't think I finished that thought. The players evidently went to the Marching Chiefs and said, hey, can we do something different on third down? Can we have some DJ music instead of the war chant? Which I think is just the most asinine thing in history, because college football is about the traditions of college. That's what makes it unique. That's what makes it great, you idiots. You know, if your players think that you want to turn it into some NFL game and some NFL atmosphere, no, that's not what the people want. And all the FSU fans have revolted and sent in emails and everything to the president and the athletic director and said, get rid of this freaking DJ music on third down. It's ridiculous because this is what the players want. The players don't run this thing. And I can't believe there weren't adults in the room that said, nah, we're going to stick to our traditions. I mean, what's next? Bringing in Chief Osceola in a Cybertruck? No, thank you. No, it's going to, he comes in on a horse. That's the way it works in Appaloosa. All right. It's called Renegade. I don't care if the players like a Cybertruck and want to see Chief Osceola jump out of it with a spear. That's not the tradition of college football. That's the war chant. And by the way, you guys sucked on third down defensively. Maybe it was the DJ music. You were all infatuated. Oh, listen, we got our music. Yeah. Oh, shit. Castellano just ran by me for another 35 yards. But the music was really good. It was rocking. Did you hear that? Oh, shit. I just missed another back out of the backfield. Oh, God. But the music was good. Maybe a little too distracted.
Crazy. It's crazy. And not to mention the
and there's stuff online like, we hear you, we're going to adjust it. Don't adjust it.
You shouldn't have to be in a situation to even be adjusting anything. I mean, it's just it makes no sense. The whole stadium renovation that I don't know if anybody asked for this for what they're doing. It looks like crap on TV too. When you see all those seats that are empty, and then you have to explain to everybody, well, they're renovating the stadium, and it's only 50,000
people that are being displaced from those spots are longtime
right. That's what I'm saying.
Don't have the money for the premium seating that's being put in there. No, there's a lot of things that this administration is doing right now that is pissing off the fan base big time.
Right, and when the on-field product is as bad as it is, you can't hide from all this stuff. You just can't hide from it. So that's what I'm saying. Florida State is a nightmare right now in like every which way.
It is.
And I don't know how they get out of it this year.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of wrong going on right
Miami's
now.
The best run program in the state of Florida.
Oh, shut up. That's not good. Let's give it a season.
Right next to the UC. Oh, nice, man.
Who's the best team in Florida right now? It's Miami. I don't know. We'll find out.
Hey,
UCF, we thought
got a single vote in the AP poll this week.
We will find out because we thought, okay, good. Florida State, Miami, and Florida are all playing, and so we'll have a true state champion this year. Well, state champion might be USF. If USF beats Miami and Miami tunes FSU, of course, Miami beat Florida by virtue of.
Oh, are we doing the transitive property?
USF will be the state champs. I think that's fair.
I mean, I'm very confident. Fair. I'm very confident to tell you my Florida rankings right now are clearly Miami.
Okay.
I'm not trying to be biased, but I think UCF's better than USF. So I'm going to go UCF too. It'd be nice if we could see them play at the end of the year to decide that. But I think
those
that
three
game
is so effing stupid. What's UCF's non-conference?
We started with New Hampshire and Sam Houston State. We're off to a riveting start, and then we play Florida on October 5th in Gainesville.
Sam Houston State,
New Hampshire, and Florida.
And New Hampshire instead of USF.
Yeah.
And USF played Bethune, and they're playing who else? They're playing
Miami, Alabama.
Miami, Alabama. They have one more. They have one more non.
I'm not sure.
Okay, Bethune. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. USF. What did USF to UCF to start the season? Come on, or to end the season?
At the end of the year. Instead, UCF has to play freaking Utah at the end of the year.
We got to have that game. Come on, we got to have that game. Got to have that game. Let's not be stupid here. But anyway, all right, quick break, and we'll come back and we'll hit a little bit more on the NFL. Lots of stuff going around the NFL. We'll hear from Tristan Wirfs as well. So all that coming your way. We're brought to you by the Gold and Diamond Source. Hey, guys, it's a great place for you to shop as well. I know you're going to get something for your honey. That's always a good idea. But you can buy stuff for yourself. How about a nice watch? They've got all different brands of watches there, not just one kind of watch. They got all kinds of watches there that you can get. All the big names, Rolex, Tag, Breitling, all the good stuff there. Go check them out. And they got great prices on them, used and new. And, of course, you can get yourself a nice ring, a necklace. What are you laughing at?
I'm sorry. I hate to cut you off.
You're my live read?
I just saw a breaking news, and then I'm like, it's going to make you feel even worse.
Tease it.
I'm sorry. It involves a Florida State player who is out for this season.
Oh, I think I heard this coming. Yep. All right. We'll get to that as well. But don't forget, it's the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Back in 3. Discover a world of elegance and sophistication at the Gold and Diamond Source. Whether you're searching for your first piece or celebrating a special milestone, their expert team is here to guide you every step of the way. Navigating the world of fine jewelry can be overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Their knowledgeable staff is dedicated to helping you choose the perfect piece, ensuring you feel confident and informed. At the Gold and Diamond Source, they pride themselves on offering only the highest quality jewelry. From stunning engagement rings to timeless watches, each piece is crafted with precision and care. So take advantage of their 5 years interest-free financing. This means you can get a $5,000 piece and only pay $83 a month. And if you're new to buying diamonds, their first-time buyer program will educate you on the 4 C's: cut, color, clarity, and carat, and help you understand the different shapes and sizes available. Go enjoy the great staff at the Gold and Diamond Source. You'll be family forever. It's the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Hey, Tampa Bay sports fans. This is two-time LPGA major champion Jane Geddes here. After winning the U.S. Open and 10 other LPGA events, I wanted to try something completely different. So I came right off the top turnbuckle and landed in the crazy world of WWE. And yes, you heard that right. That's WWE. Working for the Vince McMahon as the VP of Talent Relations for the company. Now, though, I want to work for you. Everything I've done in my life, I've done with incredible passion. And now I've turned my focus to leading the best real estate team in Tampa Bay, the Geddes Gordon Group with Keller Williams in South Tampa. If you're looking for a new home, an investment property, or looking to sell your current home, we will give you major championship level service. When you choose Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of our inner circle, like family. So if you're looking for a few golf tips or a golf course view, we're going to stripe it right down the fairway. Call me at 813-485-6808 or go to gettysgordongroup.com, or again, give me a ring at 813-485-6808.
JP here for Third Generation AC and Plumbing. And Third Generation really says it all, folks. The owner, my friend John Rodriguez, has been in the AC and plumbing business since 1995. They built their business on honest assessments and doing great work on time for a great price. Simple, right? Did you know many AC techs are incentivized on big commissions to sell new AC units, and you might just need a drain cleared? So if you want someone you can trust, that's John Rodriguez and Third Generation Services. Check out the 5-star Google reviews. If you have a plumbing or AC emergency, call 813-961-8024 and a human will answer the phone. That's 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com. Hey, it's football season, so we welcome back the FSU Football Report every Monday and Friday on the J.P. Peterson Show, sponsored by those huge FSU fans at Italiano Insurance. They'll save you money as well. Just do a quick insurance checkup, 813 813-877-7799. They just saved me $500 on homeowners insurance. Who's doing that? Yeah, they just shopped it around, found a better, cheaper company, and we got a cheaper price. And business insurance. Make sure you're covered or you could lose your personal wealth. That's 813-877-7799. ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Knowles.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, one of South Tampa premier traditional Italian restaurant. We were recently voted number 3 on Open Table list of Tampa Bay's top 10 restaurants. We're very proud of that because we take great care of preparing each dish by hand with homemade sauces, pastas, only the freshest local ingredients. You won't see the big institutional vendor trucks pulling up to our back door. We get our seafood from local vendors. Sometimes I even drive out to Tarpon Springs and pick out our daily catch right off those boats. So stop by and say hello. Try our traditional lasagna, the fresh veal, some of our signature dishes like capelli al granchio, that is angel hair with lump crab meat, our branzino, that is a sea bass. We're located at 4205 South McDill, and you can make a reservation on Open Table and read all the great reviews. See you soon. Ciao. Grazie.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Extravaganza Productions. If you have a business event coming up or you have a big birthday party you want to produce, make it special. Get the professionals involved at Extravaganza Productions. They've got a warehouse full of props for all the parties that they've done that you could use. So go have a creative meeting with them and see what the options may be, whether it's a business event, a personal event, whatever it is, a charity event, they will do it for you. Extravaganzaproductions.com. Go to the website, either email them or call them and tell them you heard it on the JP Show. All right, give me the bad news. What's up?
Running back Jalen Lucas is out for the rest of the season for Florida State.
Oh, my
Mike Norvell just announced it. He suffered a season-ending injury against Boston College. Not sure what. I don't think he revealed it. He does have eligibility remaining, but he will not be there for Florida State this year.
One of the few weapons we had. Yeah. Wow. That hurts. That hurts. I don't even remember him getting hurt.
I don't remember either, but I mean, I told you I went through all the transfers and how many dudes can play, and he's like one of the few of this cycle that I thought I saw some juice from. But again, I don't think they were using him as much as they probably should have. But now you won't be able to use him at all. So tough break for that kid.
Wow. That sucks. James says that keep hearing sites like Double Fries No Slaw saying DJ should start. TJ? My man TJ Pinter saying DJ should start? Like what? I don't get that. I don't get that. No, why?
There's no upside.
I want to hear the argument. Unless you just think Brock Glenn and Luke Kromenhoek are just so awful that there's no way FSU can win any games with them, which I don't. I mean, if you're basing Brock Glenn off of what you saw last year, I would submit to you the situations that he was put in. He did pretty well. Made some big time throws, made some mistakes, but for God's sakes, he's a true freshman who hasn't gotten any reps all year.
Until Florida State figures out how they can run the football, they're not going to win any games with any of these quarterbacks. So,
well, you can't run the football if you don't have a quarterback that can move. In the college game, you got to have a guy that can pull it and run it and doesn't have concrete shoes like DJU. Yeah. It's going to vastly improve your running game. I don't see how the passing game could be worse. DJ's awful.
Yeah.
Like Brock's a 4-star who can run, Luke's a 5-star who can throw the hell out of the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see why and then there's Trevor Jackson, another 4-star quarterback who can really run and throw, who's raw, but gives you at least that improvisation that's going to make plays. Yeah. I don't see any upside to it.
I'll hit this comment and then we can move back over to the Bucs in the NFL. But T. Knowles said, sounds like Nick isn't an FSU fan. Geez, talk about piling on. As far as an FSU fan, my head is friggin' spinning after 2 unexpected defeats. Get Williams back at wide receiver and Elijah in 2. Well, first of all, T. Knowles, I grew up a massive Florida State fan. My aunt is in the Hall of Fame at Florida State. My dad went to Florida State, so I was always a big Florida State fan. I'm a UCF grad. There's a distinction between the two. Okay. But I'm just I'm being as real as I possibly can with the state of the Florida State program right now. And you tell me what positives I need to point out right now that I'm missing.
Yeah, being critical doesn't mean you're not a fan. It means that you're pointing out things that hopefully will be changed. And especially on this show, we have to be objective. This is not a fan show. We're not cheerleaders. We don't have pom-poms here for the Bucs or anybody. And, I don't think there's anybody harder on FSU than us, to be quite honest, because we see the faults, and it's okay. I still think Mike Norvell is the guy. He's the coach. He's created an incredible culture. Hopefully it's not as bad on the inside as it is on the outside. He'll find his way. He's going to have to recruit better high school classes. There's no question about that. And they just lost a 4-star edge rusher who decommitted this past weekend. So, but if he stays with DJU for this Memphis game, as James asked, I'm going to say, along with that 4th down call in the Boston College game, which decisions I've ever seen, I'm going to lose some faith. Because there's no upside to DJU. And Pat Burnham has been to practice, and he said, DJU never separated himself from Brock and Luke. So if that's the case, why would we stick with him when we saw what happened in the games? And again, it's not all his fault. It's not. The defense has been atrocious. But the offense has been bad too. And at least they've got playmakers on this team. And I think with a running quarterback, someone who can move, you give yourself a chance. DJU, he's a terrible passer and he can't run. What's the upside? I don't. And clearly the team, he shows no fire and shows no leadership. I don't think the team believes in him at all. I think that's part of the problem. So again, but obviously Mike knows a hell of a lot more than I do about his team and where he's at. Now he may also be so close to it that he looks at what they're paying DJU and the fact that he made that decision and he wants to make it work. I think that's where great coaches have to make bold decisions. And if you made a mistake, you have to admit your mistake and move on. Doubling down does not make you a good coach. I think it's a risk. I think it's a terrible risk. I think it's more risky to stay with DJU than it is to go somewhere else. Shut up.
She's chiming in too.
Yeah. All right. We got to get one more. Let's hit one quick break and then we'll come back. We'll finish up with the NFL. We are brought to you by the great folks at Third Generation Plumbing and AC. If you need emergency service, call them. Go to the website, thirdgenerationplumbing.com. Just Google them and they will get right out to you. In business since 1995. That's because they are honest and they do great work at a great price. And that's all you want when you want an AC company or a plumbing company, right? We don't know what the hell's wrong. They could be coming out there to sell you a system. And a lot of other companies, they're incentivized on their new systems that they sell when these techs come out. So they'll sell you something you don't need. They don't do that at Third Generation Plumbing. So just go with the folks that have been here forever, 3 generations in Tampa, been in business since 1995, thirdgenerationplumbing.com. Back in 3. Hey, it's football season, and we welcome back the Gator Report every Monday and Friday, sponsored by the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves lawgroup.com. Just go to the website. You can contact them through there. Scott Jeeves is a tremendous, aggressive attorney and a big Gator fan, so we appreciate him supporting this show and, of course, your Florida Gators. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results, whether it's personal injury or anything else, any law matter at all. It's the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves lawgroup.com. Give them a call. Tell them JP sent you.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on TrueBody and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
JP here to ask the question, are you planning an event, meeting, or conference? If so, you'll want to call the designers and production professionals at Extravaganza Productions Incorporated. With over 35 years of experience in the events industry, designing and producing every type of small to large event, they can provide a huge resource for design ideas, audio, visual, sound, lighting, decor, and entertainment to turn your event into an incredible experience for the entire audience. Folks, I've worked up close and personal with this group at many national events and Tampa events, and they have unique capabilities that help you save time and money in the planning and execution of your next event. Don't delay. Call these pros today at 813-621-4700 or check out their website at extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you, and they'll provide a free initial consultation for your event. Extravaganza Productions, the best of the business. Golfers, listen up. The hottest new driving range craze has come to Rogers Park in Tampa. The Top Tracer range is now open 10 to 9 p.m. And just like you see on TV, every shot is tracked for yardage and accuracy, giving you immediate feedback. And best of all, you can virtually play the top courses like Pebble Beach or St. Andrews with your buddies. Plus, great food and drink options available in the well-appointed hitting bays. Very comfortable out there. Reservations highly recommended, starting at $25 per hour, including balls. Reserve at RogersParkGolf.net. That's RogersParkGolf.net. See you there.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the Geddes Gordon Group. Real estate prices have come down a little bit, and so have interest rates. So if you want to get back in the game, call that Hall of Famer that Nick Geddes was talking about, Jane Geddes, at just go to GeddesGordonGroup.com. That's their website. Google them and tell them JP sent you, because they will get you right. They'll get you that property. Get in now, folks, because when the interest rates continue to go down, that means the prices are going to go up, especially in some of the more desirable areas. So get in now if you're looking for a new home at the Geddes Gordon Group. All right, do we have the Tristan Wirfs sound available?
Yeah, I got it here from the one you put up here on your Instagram last
Okay,
night.
yes.
So let's,
this might be the conversation we had with
Tristan right here.
If someone comes in here, they're gonna have to deal with everything we deal with, the heat. We can use that to our advantage. We train in this. We train in it year round. We got to use that to our advantage.
The running game is so much better today. What's the difference? The scheme, backs, what?
I don't know. I think it's just getting everyone on the same page. I think that's been the biggest thing. O-line, backs, tight ends, receivers, everyone on the same page. And just flying off the ball. That's what we're trying to do. Mid zone, getting guys displaced, moving the line of scrimmage, outside zone, getting guys reached. It's awesome. I didn't hear his name called. So that's but they took it up. Yeah, that's about as good as you can ask for playing all line. So no, I think he did great. We'll watch the tape, and I think he had an awesome day.
Tristan, what does it mean to score 37 in game one and sort of have a nice, easy, I don't want to say easy, but a nice, breezy win here?
No, getting 37 on the board was awesome. We didn't do that too often last year. So just putting points up in general felt really nice.
And then operationally, just what was it like kind of getting in a rhythm there?
I thought that felt really good. Felt like we were rolling at times, and that's always nice. We can get plays in and out, get in and out of the huddle quick, get up to the line, get the play called, get the ball snapped off, and do the best we can.
And there's Tristan Wirfs. I thought it was interesting that he said that they were all on the same page. I felt like last year that they weren't. It seemed like guys were confused on who they should block. He's talking about those reach blocks is something that Graham Barton can do because he's athletically gifted enough. He gets off the ball quickly and he bounces off the original. He's big enough to give a nice assist to that first what they used to call a bounce block. I'm not sure what they call it now, but you double team initially on the down guy, and then you get up to the second level. And some guys are just better at it than others. And you have to have the size and the speed and the quickness and the technique to do it. And I think Barton is a great technician. He's really, really good in how he stays low and comes off quick and gets that leverage and then can move up to the second. He's athletic enough to do that. And that's why I think this running game is just going to grow and grow and grow even more, especially with the fact that you're going to have two backs now and Bucky Irving, who can spell Rashad White, and everybody's going to be fresh for the fourth quarter. I think that's why their second half, they were a better running team. Not only their linemen, but also their backs are fresh as well. And I think that makes a difference.
Well, I said I was anxious to see some of the tape later when it comes out and try to watch that offensive line because it's hard to judge them like when you're watching from like a TV copy, really.
Right. Yeah.
But I already saw, Brian Baldinger, who loves his Buccaneers O-line.
He does love his Bucs, yeah.
I've been keeping my eye on his Twitter during the show. He's actually been putting out a lot of really good clips of the Buccaneers offensive line going to work. And particularly, he put together like a little montage of Graham that you might be able to want to play tomorrow or something. But
yes,
just watching it in between the breaks, there were some multiple examples of Graham, getting to the second level, like you mentioned, and sticking Bobby Wagner. And Bobby Wagner is a first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the greatest to ever do it at that position. It's not easy to stick him.
No.
And he did that on multiple occasions in this football game from some of the clips I saw. There's some other times, too, where right off the ball, he goes to double team the guy Cody Malcaz. And then you have the guy come from the other side. And Barton is able to move very quickly off the double team and to stick. I think it might have been Jonathan Allen. And again, Jonathan Allen is not an easy guy to stick and put a hat on hat either. And so there's already some great examples there. So I don't know. Maybe on the rewatch, Graham Barton's going to come out looking better than maybe
I thought he played great.
Most of my criticism was just from that first quarter, I thought, for that Bucs O-line.
Yeah, from what I'm going to watch the all 22. Obviously, Baldinger's already doing it, and I think he played really, really well. Because how many gaping holes did we see last year for the running backs? Not many. I'd say there was probably half a dozen. Big holes that they ran through. There was movement. That's the thing that I can kind of see secondarily as I'm watching the ball as well. Is like there's just was last year. And it was at times yesterday, at times, but there was just a gaggle. And most of the time it was on the offensive side. There was just no movement in this zone scheme. Whereas yesterday you saw a lot of movement. You saw a lot of holes. You saw a lot of movement and angles that are created by this blocking scheme that you didn't see a lot of last year. And you saw it different. You saw the Jets, the push pass to Bucky it gets him to the outside really quick. You saw toss sweeps that got Rashad to the outside real quick. Yeah. So there's a lot of different things they're doing to get on the perimeter quickly and take advantage of these really good tackles that they have.
And even some of these screens, that they were dialing up for Chris Godwin, a lot more success from those in week one than at any point you saw last year when they were trying to get Chris Godwin the ball on some of those screens. And I think some of the blocking, Trey Palmer aside, I thought most of the blocking getting downhill was pretty solid from that team.
All right, let's hit some of these other games. I'm glad that we did mostly Bucks and local stuff here. That's what we do. You guys can get the national stuff from other places, but we'll hit a couple of these. Daniel Jones is still awful. This just in. The idea of drafting a great receiver like Malik Neighbors is really a smart idea. But if you don't have a quarterback, what's the effing point? What are you doing, New York Giants?
Just stuck with him.
That's like sticking with DJU, but at least they're paying him a hell of a lot more than we're paying DJU
because of this. Like, seriously.
Yes. Yeah, just crazy. Dak gets his $60 million and they go out and torch the $240 million, I should say, guaranteed. I was actually standing with a man who couldn't get $100,000 out of Hugh Culverhouse. Doug Williams was in the house because he works for the Commanders. And it was great to see him at Raymond James Stadium again. And I was asking him, I said, "You see that Dak contract?" He's like, "Oh my God." I said that you just were born at the wrong time, Doug. You could be making $60 million a year. And he laughed. But what a great guy. And he should be in a Hall of Fame. I think he should be in a Hall of Fame.
Deshaun Watson is, I don't know what I'm telling you. Everything that happens outside of football has just completely, he looks shot. Like he's got nothing to offer at this point, in my opinion. And I'm just saying, Jameis Winston is right there. I don't know. I mean,
play him.
Jameis Winston is one of the most beloved guys in the entire league. Everybody talks about how great of a teammate he is. I think he's getting a little bit of a raw deal the last few years. I think he can absolutely, I mean, compared to some of the quarterbacks I've been watching, I think he can play as a starting quarterback. And if he's not good enough to supplant Deshaun Watson, I don't know what we're doing here.
And I guarantee his teammates love him.
Exactly. You want to
follow
follow
they don't like
Watson?
Deshaun.
You want to? How would you want to follow that dude?
All right. What else? Detroit and the Rams. More rudder right. More right rudder. Love that name, by the way. Says early thoughts on Bucs Lions. We're catching 7. Could see them bullying us up front, just like last year. That play action could end up burning us up and down the field. Look, the Lions are a good football team. They're a really, really good football team, and they got better in the offseason, I think, although Carlton Davis dropped another game-sealing interception last night.
He needs to never – anytime that he's playing against a Sean McVay offense, he needs to just ride the pine.
Oh, my God.
That is his Achilles heel.
So bad.
Tyler Johnson, buck-on-buck crime in that fourth quarter, too.
Yeah, how about Tyler Johnson?
Yeah, Puka Nacua gets hurt. My fantasy team is suffering because of that. But Tyler Johnson gets a chance and turn back the clock a little bit to 2020.
Yeah. We talked about the Bears didn't score an offensive touchdown. The Falcons were just awful. They're just awful. I'm so glad we get them early in the season. And Atlanta sports radio today was just on fire. I mean, it just –
Kirk Cousins did not move once in that football game. I've never seen somebody be so stationary. Ever.
And again,
even Tom moved more than that.
You know, they could have had Michael Penix and Justin Fields. Justin Fields won a game yesterday. Justin Fields won a game yesterday on his spot start.
He did enough.
And you went and got Kirk Cousins and you're married to him for 3 years now. This is not a 1-year deal. Okay? You're married financially to him for 3 years.
Yeah.
Atlanta. Great job. Thank you. What you could have done with all the picks over the last 2 years. And the roster that you have now is still good, but it could be so much better. You could have 4 more impact players than what you have right now. And thank God you guys have no freaking idea what you're doing up there. So good luck, Ra, but not great luck. Anything else?
I was going to give a shout out to Sam Darnold. He had a great game. I know it's against the Giants, but I don't know how many people had Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold on their bingo card of having the best performances in week 1. I think you saw that come true. Josh Allen is still very good. Going back to the game on Friday night, I called for an Eagles bounce back. Did you see Saquon Barkley? I mean, God,
my fantasy
incredible.
Yes,
Saquon Barkley is still incredible if he stays healthy. So the Eagles, I mean, they're going to go as he goes. Unfortunate, the Jordan Love injury. That's going to be tough to come back from, although it looks like he might only be out for 3 weeks. So
3 to 6 on the
best
MCL.
Case scenario. Hey, before
he didn't look good while he was in there.
Yeah,
wasn't great.
It was not great. Before we sign off real quick, I did want to mention this because I'm not sure. There's been a lot of football, so you might have missed this, but Wade Boggs, he's going through some health issues. Friend of the show, prostate cancer. So wishing the Chicken Man well.
Healing vibes out to and the prognosis is good. And if he puts his mind to anything, he's going to beat it. So healing vibe going out to you, Wade. Get well, my friend. We'll talk to you soon. And I better say this before. Didn't even have the biggest parlay win of the weekend as much as I won yesterday. That was Ashley. Look at that one. Let's see that. $10 for
a $10 bet?
618. She went with Pittsburgh, Army, Michigan State, and South Carolina all on the money line to win. 3 of those were underdogs.
Look at that.
And
with one $10 bet, you just took care of a whole car payment for the month.
Yeah, she did. That's exactly what she did. I'm like, we're going to the spa. She's like, no, I'm making a car payment. I'm like, we can do both. Michigan State, that'll be with my winnings. We're going to go to the spa. Michigan State won. They were down 7 late to Maryland and came back and won on a field goal. So enjoy your parlays, kids out there. Absolutely. Way to go. Way to go, honey. She's gorgeous and she gets it bets. And how much did she consult with me on that? 0. I said, don't even ask me. Don't even, just go do your thing. Whatever you're doing, it's working, honey. It's working great. All right, you guys, thanks for joining us on this Overreaction Monday. That wasn't too bad. Well, we didn't overreact too much.
No.
We didn't put the
Bucs in between the lines. No. I mean, they're going to win 14 games, but no.
Okay, James, ease up. Pump the brakes. I'll still take 10. I'll still take 10 because that's going to win the NFC South and put you in, get you a home playoff game. So I'll be fine with that. But look, 12 could be there. You never know. Have a great day, everybody. We will talk to you tomorrow.